Hello everyone. Here I'm going to be discussing with you how to start writing scripts in PowerShell. Most people that I work with that are beginning to script have this big issue associated with where to begin. Once they have started scripting and they learn the process of how everything is formed, they're on a roll. Let me show you what I'm talking about and some of the simple steps you need to begin with. First of all, you want to be mindful of the fact that you want to start with the simplest form of your problem statement first. And you want to modularize your problem statement over time. You may have a really big problem you're trying to solve, something you want to try and automate. You want to break that down into the simplest statement. We're going to start with a very simple statement. We're going to start with getting a list of files in a directory. How easy can that be? When you break your question down, your problem down into smaller manageable pieces, and then modularize them, it makes it very easy for you to reach a solution. The issue I have found when people say, I don't know where to begin, I don't know how to script, the issue really is, where do I begin? What do I start? I don't know what I need to do. Or they will say, I need to figure out how to do this in PowerShell. I know what I want to do. I know the problem I want to solve, but I don't know how to do it in PowerShell. Or I don't know how to script it. I'm afraid of coding. What if something goes wrong? I don't have enough time. I'm just going to go find something online and use that. That's not how you're going to learn. You're not going to learn by copying and pasting someone else's script. Even if it works, it's not an effective way to learn. So our simple statement is get a list of files in the current directory. And we want to do that using PowerShell. Well, so our simple statement has been figured out. The next thing we want to do is we want to figure out what are the action items of what we want to accomplish. And by action items, it really means that from our statement, what can we extract that tells the computer or the program or your script some action that's going to be performed. And in our case, our action is the fact that we're going to be listing files. So we need to find the PowerShell equivalent of how do you list files. Okay? That breaks down this simple statement right now into listing files. So, what else do we need to do? Well, we need to take a look at our simple statement again, and we need to figure out what are the values that may change. We need to extract values from our statement that may change. And in our case, the value current directory may change, right? We want to be able to pass the name of the directory from which we want the list of files from. So list files in the current directory. So if I find out the PowerShell command that will list me files and the same PowerShell command, and if I need to, different commands, that will allow me to list files in a directory of my choosing, maybe not the current directory, the directory of my choosing, the fact that there's a value that may change. Current directories, what may change. Current directory may be that I'm going to supply it with the name of a directory. Then what I do is I try to figure out the commands, the PowerShell commands, that will list files. And I know that in my case, that command is called getChildItem. PowerShell has aliases for its commands. PowerShell commands are broken out into verbs, get, and nouns, child item. And verb-noun combination many times are aliased into something more recognizable. The dir command in PowerShell is not a command at all, but rather an alias to getChildItem. In addition to dir, the alias for getChildItem is ls, which is the Linux equivalent of the dir command. So now that I've figured out the command that will allow me to run my action item, In this case, my action item is list files, which is part of my simple statement, get a list of files from the current directory. Once I have figured that out, I'm going to determine the parameters for the values that may change. And in my case, it's going to be the C:\training, which is the example that I'm going to show you. So get child item followed by C:\training, or dir C:\training, or LSC training, because PowerShell doesn't care if it's Linux or Windows. It uses aliases. The real command is get-child item. Get being the verb, child item being the noun. So let's do this so you can see this. So here's PowerShell. If I do dir C training, I get the listing of the directory. See that dir command right there? I'm going to change this. I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to do get child item C training. And it does the same thing, because get child item is indeed the dir command, or the dir command is indeed get child item. In PowerShell, I'm going to clear the screen again. In PowerShell, there's something called the Alias Provider. And you get to a provider, or you get to a PowerShell drive, PS drive, by specifying the name of the PowerShell drive, in this case, alias, and following it up with a colon. If I do get child item dir, you'll notice that it says dir is really get child item. I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to say get child item ls, and you'll see that ls will really run get child item. If I say dir, that means give me the directory run get child item against the dir child item command. So in this case, it's telling me that dir really points to get child item. I'm going to do a cd::, which allows me to change the PS drive. I'm going to clear the screen. And if I do a get child item C training, it gives me the listing of the training directory. Okay? So very simply put, begin with the simplest statement, simplest of problem statements. Then extract the action items. From there, extract the action items. We extracted list files, and we determined that list files can be done by using getChildItem. Then you determine values from your simple statement, my simple statement, that may change. In our case, we determined that current directory may change in our statement. So we can specify if our command, in this case getChildItem, accepts those parameters, and ours does. There are some commands that are not accepted by some commandlets. getChildItem is a PowerShell commandlet. CMDLET, PowerShell commandlet. Commandlets are small units of compiled code that work, and they run, and they're already tested. Very easy. So we are able to combine all of our statements and our results by saying that we can run getChildItem and follow it up with the directory we want to run it against. And we have our problem statement resolved. Our simplest problem statement of listing the files in the current directory. If I did not want to pass the C training parameter, and I just did getChildItem, it would list me the contents of the current directory. By specifying the parameter C:\training, I'm getting the listing of files in the training directory off of the root of the C drive. I'm really glad you're here, and you're beginning to see this.